Guys, Elon Musk is talking about the damage radius of leftist ideology in those terms about San Francisco. And I'm so glad this is happening because there are so many aspects of this conversation he's having here that need to be confronted about the degenerate and truly evil censorship that was happening with Twitter before he had it, but also the worst instincts of humanity when it came to after he bought Twitter and how these people were still trying to suggest that people they disagree with should be censored. They weren't concerned about them being censored because to them they already consider themselves to be virtuous.
And I thought that was really unhealthy for public discourse. You know, so how are people say in a democracy supposed to make the right decision if they don't have the right information? Mm-hmm. You know, if they're being misled or important information is being withheld, which obviously was the case, you know, in the infamous, Hunter Biden laptop situation. Everyone knows about that.
The ability to even speak about this objectively in a way that is definitive angers a lot of leftists. And the reason why I need to say this is because it's important people understand that leftists get infuriated, subtly and sometimes extremely overtly, when you talk about their corruption in objective terms. The reason for that is because they don't want to be humiliated by being revealed as corrupt frauds and peddlers of counterfeit moral virtue, but they also reject the notion of objective moral frameworks in the doctrine of Marx, which animates all of leftist philosophy.
That there are thousands of other smaller situations like that. Mm-hmm. So effectively, Twitter and frankly Google and YouTube and whatnot, Facebook. They put their thumb on the scale of elections worldwide.
And it's so insidious that people will call Elon Musk extreme or right-wing for talking about blatant moral violations conducted by the left. As far as the left is concerned, you're a right-wing extremist if you just call out any of their immoralities because you're stepping out of line. You are stepping out of the goose step of their ideology. Their goose step requires you to adhere to everything that they say, believe everything that the woke hive mind virus requires you to believe. And if you don't, you're a bad person. This is why we see these insane articles comparing Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson to David Duke or these other crazy people. It's crazy.
Like
I've seen this numerous times. They've deranked any videos about Andrew Tate numerous times. And actually just today, they enacted a policy which is truly tyrannical where, get this, if you make a video talking about Andrew Tate, the comments automatically get turned off and you have to manually go in and turn the comments on. It's disgusting. It is really reprehensible. And it takes an even darker turn when you realize the fact that 95+% of the comments of Andrew Tate on Andrew Tate videos are all in favor of Andrew Tate. They're all positive, meaning they don't want people to see that the vast majority of people support Andrew Tate. It's just like when they got rid of the dislike counter. They are tyrannical people who are in favor of you living in a 1984 dystopian world.
So I think in order to have a solid bedrock for democracy, and frankly, even if a country's not strictly speaking a democracy, really allowing all voices to be heard. I mean, unless someone's doing something like just flat out illegal, then they should be allowed to say what they want to say. And
the average person needs to understand that the left doesn't believe in the concept of free speech. They don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in individuals, so there's no such thing as free speech. It's not a disconnect on the same dimension. It's not you put forward an idea and they say, no, I disagree with this idea on this level. They're disagreeing with the notion of free speech on this level because you're saying I should have the right to say what I want, and they're saying you don't exist because people only exist in their relationship to a group membership, a group ideology. You as an individual don't get to have ideas. That's what Foucault was criticizing when he was writing about Marxist philosophy, the French intellectual. That's what he was saying. He was saying individuals don't exist and shouldn't have even that weight in philosophical thought, which is how the First Amendment was birthed by the founding fathers of America.
Free speech is only relevant if we allow people that you don't like to say things you don't like.
Radical left doesn't believe in free speech. It's disgusting.
Otherwise, it loses all meaning.
And this is what we're seeing. This is what we're forcing them to admit in real time. As Elon Musk says these things, he's like, free speech is only relevant if someone you don't like gets to say something you don't like. And what that does is it's actually forcing radical leftists to admit they don't care about free speech. They don't. Radical leftists do not care about free speech. They don't. And they only care about their counterfeit moral cult. That's all they care about. And demonizing others.
Something I've noticed traveling all around the world, and especially, I mean, recently I've been to all over the US. I've, of course, spent time in the UK. I went to Australia recently. And it seems like in all these countries, you know, these Western nations that are supposed to be, you know, so-called liberal democracies, people are supposed to be able to speak freely and so on. The average person is terrified to speak their mind. It seems that the concept of freedom of speech has really been pushed to the side.
The concept of freedom of speech has been demoralized in its presuppositions because, again, the radical left disputes the notion that individuals exist. And if individuals exist, then you don't have the right to anything because you don't exist. Only you in relationship to an ideology exist. This is the nature of their error. This is the totality of their error, and it is truly reprehensible because it goes against the founding Enlightenment principles that have created the Western light, the Western democracies. The notion is that the individual has a spark of divinity and therefore must be respected. They don't like that, and that stems from Marxist resentment. And that's because the individual spawns the antidote to group membership, left-wing totalitarianism, and Marxist resentment. It is the individual. The individual is the locus of that fundamental operation.
It's something that is supposed to be a bedrock of our societies and nations and cultures, but something I found incredibly interesting, for example, when you bought Twitter, was that people were not afraid that they would be censored, but they were afraid that their opposition, especially people more on the right side of the aisle, would not be censored.
They were censored. And they exposed their blatant totalitarianism. They exposed their tyrannical wishes and their immoral, their evil view of anyone that commits the thought crime of disagreeing with them. They exposed that. That's who the left is. They aren't compassionate. They aren't inclusive. They aren't empathetic. No, they are the most hateful group in the planet because they think if you disagree with them, you shouldn't be allowed to speak. You shouldn't be allowed to have an opinion. And you should be censored because you dare resist them. That's who they think of you as. That's who they are.
You know, people sometimes say, "Oh, you must be exaggerating." I'm like, you just come to downtown SF on any random day. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Just look around,
and it's like Mad Max Walking Dead situation.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's like you can't believe it. It's one thing if that
God bless this man.
If the sort of damage radius of an ideology is limited geographically.
Dude, Elon Musk literally. Okay, this is going to drive the leftists insane. Elon Musk is referring to the radical lefts, to what the radical left creates, what their ideology creates as a damage radius, bro. Oh my gosh, this is so fucking funny. Okay, bro, do you realize what just happened? Elon Musk just referred to the radical left-wing ideology and said we want to limit its damage radius. It is literally like a toxic waste spill. Dude, the radical left talks about, spilling oil and damaging the penguins and the fish. Dude, the radical left is its own oil spill. It is corrosive. It is damaging culture. It's poisoning people. It's telling young men that they're the enemy. It's telling any person that wants to exercise ambition that's not a black, disabled, LGBTQ woman, that their ambition is nothing but a product of the patriarchy to oppress people. It is they are the greatest force for evil and destruction of civilization that is existing today. And Elon Musk is more than right. He is hitting the nail on the head when he says we want to limit the damage radius of these ideas. And it's spread throughout the internet because, as he's about to say, they're located in these ecospheres of left-wing Marxist resentment. So then they get proliferated out to the rest of the country. Limit the damage radius of left-wing ideology. That should go on a shirt, dude. That's crazy. I mean,
if you have something like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok to some degree, maybe to a lot.
I make light of the situation, but it really is somber. This is a very, very serious topic. Elon Musk is completely correct when he refers to the radical left and these big tech companies as megaphones for the mind virus of the radical left. But we don't understand what that means. That means we're under attack. That means we have to take action. That means you must stand fortified in your resistance, and not only stand in defensive modes, you must go out and correct these people. You must be unafraid to say the truth to these people who are insane and believe they're better than you. You must say, no, you're wrong. You're evil. You are spreading division and hate. You are not the arbiters of virtue. In fact, you disgrace yourself.
Great.
This is how you confront narcissists. This is how we deal with psychopaths in culture, the 1% to 3% of psychopaths in culture. That's how they get confronted. Strong men willing to stand up. Men, I'm going to say something that you need to pay attention to right now, and I hope this goes out to other platforms. In the new world, the world we live in with the internet, where the woke mind virus gets proliferated across the nation by these big tech companies, as Elon Musk describes, the new version of being a man, the new version of standing strong, being that guy that confronts the predator to protect your family, means not just being strong physically and willing to protect your family physically. It means being unafraid to say the truth online. That's what it is. Be unafraid to say the truth online. Be unafraid to say the truth in person. Confront these psychopaths. Confront these demonic forces of exclusion and bigotry and hate. That's what the left is, and that's what we have to do. You must be unafraid. I've always been unafraid, and I was born that way to say what I think is true, because I just had an instinct knowing that truth was the only thing that mattered. And a lot of you guys think you're tough, right? You think I'm a man. You think I'm protecting civilization. I'm a guardian of what I love. And I'm going to challenge you and say, you're failing. You need to step up. You need to be unafraid to speak your mind, because being unafraid to speak your mind is more important in today's day and age than going to the gym and having big arms to be able to protect people that you think will come under attack, because they already are under attack. They already are under attack. Your kids are under attack. Your wife is under attack. Your wife's being told to leave you because masculinity is toxic and you're oppressing her. Subliminally everywhere in culture. It's on Netflix. It's on the shows you watch. It's on the shows she watches. It's in the lives of all of her friends and your children. They're being told to become LGBTQ. Your family's already under attack, and in order to combat it, you must become unafraid to speak the truth. That's what you have to do. So that's what I want to see. And I know people are afraid, but the cost for not speaking up against these forces of evil is far worse than the consequences you will face by speaking the truth.